living in Chicago. I know you're pretty familiar with the Bears. A couple of questions about them. I know that when you were the Vikings' new Bear head coach, Mark Trestman was the quarterback coach, I believe, in 90 and 91. What do you recall about his style, and what do you think he brings to the Bears?
Well, Tress is one of my favorite guys of all time. One of the smartest guys I've ever met, football-wise, and really the smartest guys, period. He was phenomenal with the Vikings. He was underused with the Vikings, and he was just a great guy. And then he went on and he coached Rich Gannon at the Raiders, and I lost touch with him. I didn't even know where he was, and I had some business up in Canada a couple of years ago. Went up to Regina, Saskatchewan, and I was sitting in a hotel room, and I'm watching TV, and there he is winning his second Grey Cup. Mm-hmm. And I could not tell you how thrilled I was for the guy, because he's just such a quality human being and just a great coach. I actually went on the internet and I found his email address, and I sent him a note basically saying, I'm thrilled for you, Coach. I'm so glad to see your success. We always knew you were going to be successful, but it's great to see that this has come true. It was sad that he never got his chance down here. And then, this past year when his name came up, I was hitting the social networking hard. I was hitting the, whoever would listen to me, whatever interviews I can give around here, saying, look, he's on your list. He's your guy. He is the guy to change things around here, because he's one of the smartest football guys I know. Here's a guy that, on the plane ride up to Canada, learned the Canadian football rules, the offense there. And he's just a genius, and he's phenomenal. What you got here in Chicago is you got a lot of tools. You've got the best talented quarterback this organization has ever seen by a long shot, as far as his ability, as far as his arm. But what you got is a big question on his leadership ability. What this is going to do basically is this is going to be his last shot. If Cutler cannot improve and win with Tress, he can't win with anybody. They've got so many tools and options down here. The big question down here is going to be the defense. You lose a guy like Urlacher, and I know he was slowing down. He wasn't quite the same guy, but he was really a phenomenal player for all those years. And the problem that I have watching this team is they were exciting last year because of all the turnovers. Mm-hmm. And when you live by the turnover, you die by the turnover. Right. And they gave up a lot of yardage, but they were able to get that turnover when they needed it. I mean, Tillman is one of the greatest of all time at making opponents drop the ball. Can he continue doing that? I think he's got the ability to do it. He's a year older, but you've got that issue where teams prepare for that, and can you get that key turnover at the key time? That's tough to rely on to win games.
We're hoping in Minnesota that they don't have the same success they've had over the last 7 or 8 years doing that.
Exactly. Well, and Minnesota is an interesting deal. I've watched Minnesota play, and especially last year. AP, my God, it reminds me when we had Roger Craig in last year, and Roger had a knee injury, had knee surgery. I think it was on a Monday, and the guy literally was back practicing on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. I've never seen anything like it, but he was just in a physical specimen, just a great guy, and you could tell why San Francisco won, because this guy's attitude was just, nothing's going to stop me. And I think AP's got that same ability. For Ponder, I think it's real simple. I think it harkens back to the old, the Bears Super Bowl year where they told McMahon, look, just don't lose the game for us. And I think with Ponder, it's the same thing. He's got to manage the game. I think he needs to make a couple key throws, but I think if he can manage the game and not lose the game, they're going to have a chance. And the biggest question, again, is just defense. I mean, every time I've watched the Vikings in the past, it just seems like they haven't been able to shut teams down when they needed to in the fourth quarter. So, it all harkens back to that. But if there's one guy that can put that, put the pedal down, it's Leslie Frazier, and, he's a defensive specialist. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, it comes down to injuries, too. Yeah. You got to have some depth, and you got to have a little luck. So it's going to be a very interesting year. You look at the Packers, and you look at their injuries, too. Left tackle goes out, Beluga goes out. Packers have the ability to kind of do it with tape and spit and tie it together, and the reason that is they've got such a great quarterback, probably one of the best we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. He's just so damn good, and they've got their defense. It could be smoke and mirrors. They have the ability to put personnel in place to make plays. And then the secret is, they're in Green Bay, so there's nothing else to do up there but play football. So it keeps their players focused. And then you go around and Detroit for years and years and years, and playing against Barry Sanders was so much fun. It was amazing, but they still always had a culture of losing for years. And until they shift that culture, I don't care how much talent you build, they're still going to be losers. And it's amazing. Some teams know how to win, some teams just know how to lose. And Detroit just seems to know how to lose. Now, hopefully that'll turn around this year for them, but, I don't really see any indication. But it's like anything else. Like I said, it's the greatest reality show ever. You listen to all these pundits, and a lot of them are my friends that I played with now on ESPN, and, you get these guys coming on and saying what's going to happen. They have no clue. No clue. It's a coin flip. It's a reality show. It's phenomenal. That's why it's still the most popular game. It is America's game, unfortunately, now that baseball is in the toilet. Yeah. But football is that type of game, and that's why there's so much interest in it, and the fantasy and the betting and all that. You know what? That's why football's so popular. So, for anybody to say, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen this year, not a clue. Right. There's too many variables that go into it. Every team prepares to win, but there's certain teams that have the talent, that have the coaching that can make it happen. And you know what? I think the NFC Central, it's a NFC North. Jesus, is that what it's called now?
Yeah, that's it.
No, I think it's a special time. I think it's an elite division. They're definitely going to have to deal with the West now because you got two of my guys, Pete Carroll, who was our defensive back coach with the Vikings when I was up there, and then Jim Harbaugh, who was my roommate with the Bears out there making major strides. It's a fun time to watch football. It's a great time to be an NFC fan. It's a phenomenal league. It's still, you know what? A couple years out, I couldn't watch the game anymore. I didn't want to watch it.
Yep.
And now I've come back to it, and I'm a big fan. I just think these guys are tremendous. The ability has kept on increasing. They're so big, so strong, so fast. It amazes me.
The last part of our interview is simply a rapid-fire session where I'll give you one word, and we're looking for a one-word or one-sentence response from you. Does that sound okay?
That sounds good.
All right. Wade Wilson.
Wade, wow. Oh, poised.
DJ Dozier.
DJ, wow. Underrated.
Rich Gannon.
Well, the fact that he couldn't count his cards in cribbage, and I used to have to count them for him, unbelievable growth.
Okay. Steve Jordan.
Professional.
Sean Salisbury.
There's my other roommate. Sean would, quick story, I know this is quick hitters, but Sean would be the only guy that would fall asleep in the middle of talking, in the middle of a sentence.
Okay.
Boy, could he talk. Yeah, we'd be watching Saturday Night Live, and he'd just be talking, and in the middle of the sentence, he'd stop, like he'd gotten hit or something, and I'd look over, and he'd be dead asleep. Shawnee, I think it would be wayward. He kind of needs to find some direction.
Okay. Terry Allen.
Oh, T.A. Here's a guy that came back from a couple of knee injuries. He was AP before AP.
Okay. Herschel Walker.
Tremendously misunderstood.
Okay. Mike Merriweather.
Oh, I love Mike. I still talk to Mike. Devout.
Okay. Hassan Jones.
Hassan. Man. Hand.
Okay. And the last one, Fuad Revez.
Fuad. Love Fuad. Solid.
Okay.
How do you say that in Spanish?
I don't know. Maybe we have to find that out.
Fuad.
Well,
he was tough. He was great.
We can ask him because he's going to be interviewed by us in a couple of weeks.
There you go.
Well, Brent, that was that last segment may have felt a little bit like a game show, but those are the key questions that we had for you today, and we appreciate you taking the time to share your memories with Viking fans. And wanted to ask in closing, were there any thoughts you had about the Minnesota Vikings?
Well, I appreciate it, Tom. It's nice to be able to talk to you guys, and definitely to reconnect up in Minnesota. It was definitely a part of my life that was just so important to me, and I'll remember it forever. And I've always got a warm spot in my heart for the Vikings and for the the whole state and city. And as far as the Vikings go, look, they've gotten awful close. 4 Super Bowls, and we got close. And I know they got closer when I left, but at some point, someday, they will have a parade up there, and I can't wait to see it because it'll be well deserved, and the people up there deserve that championship, and they'll get it at some point, somehow, some way. And I just hope I'm still alive to see it.
Me too. Well, again, Brent, I appreciate you joining VikeFans.com, and we hope we can continue to check in with you in the future, and hope you'll carry your purple memories proudly and cheer for the Vikings when they finally return to that ever-elusive Super Bowl.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tom.
You bet.